Hello everyone, I've been looking forward to sharing this video with you for a long time. I am now an official artist for the Swiss-based KHE Audio company, one of the industry's most important brands in amp routing and amp switching, preferred by many musicians, studios, and sound engineers worldwide. First of all, I would like to thank the KHE Audio team for their trust in me. If you are also recording, maybe using several different amplifiers, or setting up a truly professional guitar rig, then this video might be of interest to you. If you're ready, let's get started. Hello everyone! Today, I'll introduce a great amp switcher made by KHE Audio. I've been recording and producing guitar for a long time, and this product is at the heart of my sound. Before I had this KHE Audio switcher, I used to deal with many amps and cabinets, whether in the recording system or on stage, constantly plugging and unplugging cables. The amp outputs had to be connected somewhere, because those who use tube amps will agree with me. If a tube amp output isn't connected to a speaker, if it doesn't transfer energy there, we all know it will cause problems for that amp. So, for example, I'm going to play a recording. During this recording, to try the amps I wanted one by one, I'd run them all separately. I'd warm up their tubes. I'd test them to be able to record in the system. Maybe I liked the Friedman more. Maybe I liked the Sewer amp more, or the Mesa Boogie. But I was trying all of them, and this was taking a very serious amount of time in my workflow. To explain the benefits of this product and why it holds such an important place at the center of my system, I'll group them under a few headings. One of them is efficiency and time. As I just said, I record in many different styles. Sometimes it's pop, sometimes rock, sometimes funk. I need to get different amps and different sounds for all of them. So since I have many amps, I felt the need to connect these amps. I was sending them to the speakers one by one. Then I'd record and try to hear it within the sound. And when I tried to hear it in the sound, I couldn't compare if that amp was better or worse than the previous one. It was taking an incredible amount of time for me. When I wanted to use more than one amp on stage, I couldn't do it. However, this product, especially in the studio and recording phase, increases my efficiency in terms of creating a sound and making comparisons between sounds. Because being able to listen to sounds one after another, and while listening, it takes away the fears and worries of whether the amp outputs are connected to a speaker, whether it will cause a problem, or if I'll damage the amp. Takes my fear. With one button, I can switch from Friedman to Mesa Boogie or Victory. I can do this while playing, and as guitarists will know, with the reamping method, I can compare if it's this amp's clean or that amp's clean. Or I can compare if it's Sewer's drive or Victory's drive. I compare. So what does this provide? First of all, it provides incredible time savings for me, because every amp needs to run, every amp needs to warm up. Secondly, while comparing the sounds of the amps, I can choose which sound is more right for the music I'm playing at that moment. Between two amps, while I wait to plug and unplug cables and warm up the tubes, a lot of time passes between comparing it with the previous sound. But thanks to this KHE Audio switcher, I can switch instantly, go back, and very quickly decide which sound or amp gives better results for my recording. The most important part of the device is that it doesn't degrade my sound at all while doing this. Because, some switches or pedals we use add or subtract something from your sound because they're in the circuit even when off, but we want the actual sound of that amp or a pedal we put in between, or an effect. If it's dark, we want it dark. If it's bright, we want it bright. And one of the things I expect most from an amp switcher is this: it shouldn't mess with my sound. Let me do the routing I want, but don't change anything in the amp's sound. It shouldn't cut or add any frequencies. KHE Audio is truly incredibly successful in this regard. It doesn't interfere with the sound in any way. What did we say? Saving time and increasing efficiency. While I can switch quickly from any amp to any amp, I can do the same between cabinets. Second is safety. I've already mentioned this a bit. Why security? Tube amp users will understand this very well. We need to connect a tube amp to a cabinet, but you see behind me, I'm using 4 tube amps. Sometimes this number goes up or down. Sometimes, for example, I also connect the Mesa Boogie combo. When that happens, I need 4 separate speakers for 4 amp heads. And maybe all 4 of those speakers need to be the same, because cabinets have their own character too. But I want to hear what different heads sound like in the same cab, under the same conditions. I want to hear that. Since I can't connect 4 heads to one cabinet while they're all running at once, what was I doing? Turning them on and off, warming up the tubes, waiting in between. Of course, I can't move the amp head until the tubes cool down. situations like this used to happen. In KHE Audio's system's most important feature that puts me at ease is this: our safety. All the amps are running back there right now at the same time. There's no problem with any of them. They're connected to the speaker. I'm routing to whichever speaker I want. I'll explain these in a bit. And whichever amp is active, it puts the others into standby mode. It runs the outputs of those amps in a way that won't cause any issues. It activates the amp I want. It routes it to whatever I want. And this safety system, when working with such expensive boutique tube amps, is truly the part we musicians value the most. Another topic, the third point, in my choice of this model, which KHE Audio's models are all truly incredible. One of the most important features in my choice of this model was this. I can say this is the third one. Effects. Why effects? I want to explain this to you with a bit of a usage scenario. It's this. I'm playing guitar in this environment right now. While playing here, I want to hear the amp sounds with effects if I want, or without them if I prefer. And when recording, I want to send a raw signal without effects to the system, the preamp, and then to the sound card to record. There's an effects button on the device. And thanks to this effects button, it instantly engages or disengages the effect I've plugged in based on my chosen amp and speaker routing. Right now, I've used Universal Audio's Delverb pedal here. This pedal has reverb and delay on it at the same time. That's why I chose it. I can get reverb and delay with just one pedal. There are no effects on the amps themselves. I'll just press the effects button to engage the reverb and delay. And this shows me what kind of sound I get from the amps with the effects while playing. This is obviously very important for a guitarist, because we all want to play with effects, that tube amp warmth. In this KHE audio model, engaging or disengaging the effects is just one button, and it's incredibly pleasant. Now, what do I mean by this? Let me show you by playing a bit. It's this. Let me select the first amp now. On the first amp, we have a Friedman twin sister, and we have a Mesa Boogie 212 cabinet below. We also have a 112 speaker, but I've chosen this one for now. I'll be playing through this. So, how is my system set up? Let me explain that very briefly first. 4 amp heads, 2 speakers. One is a 112, the other a 212. And I'm also recording with 2 microphones inside the Rossmann Audio. You'll hear the sound from the camera, because I want to give you the room sound. I've selected the first amp. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Our first amp is the Friedman twin sister. And I want to listen with the Mesa Boogie speaker. By the way, all the amps are running. I've just selected number 1. And for the cabinet, I chose the Mesa Boogie. While doing this, FX is on, so we'll hear the Universal Audio reverb and delay. Let's hear it. What is it? Yes, reverb and delay are active. Now, I want to deactivate this. One button. I can activate the effect instantly if I want. You can connect a pedal to the amp input if you like. Many combinations can be made. I'm using the simplest setup now, and I want to show you that. Okay, let's select the second amp. I've selected the Suhr Badger 35 now. Our effect is still active. Same cabinet again. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just choosing what I want through the amps. And then so I used reverb and delay with the Suhr Badger together. Let's say I want to deactivate the reverb and delay. I've just deactivated reverb and delay with one button. And there's no need to reach for a pedal. That's all. Now you might ask, why would we turn off the effect while playing these amps? That's a good question. The effect provides us with a very nice spaciousness. It makes a huge contribution to our sound. So why are we doing this? And why am I focusing so much on this FX button on this device? Let me tell you right away. We also don't want an affected signal in the recording. I mean, what are these effects? We don't want reverb or delay. We record the guitar amp separately. We add reverb and delay during post-production in the mixing stage. Without the effects button, it might have been recorded with effects on, or I might have had to turn it off on the pedal itself. You're hearing the sound the camera picks up from the second cab. I'm going to select this one. I'm selecting 3 from the cab section, and now the Mesa Boogie is turned off. What did I do? Inside my isolated room, there is a Grossman Audio. Inside the Grossman Audio, there are 2 different microphones. I'll send the signal from any head I want to these microphones, and I'm going to record these signals. I can record with effects, or I can record without them. I'll do the recordings to show you both. But normally, when I do my own recordings, I record it without effects, of course. Because sometimes I want to turn up the reverb more during the mixing stage. Sometimes I want to turn down the delay. To be able to do that, I record the guitar raw without any effects. I add them on during the mixing stage. Right now, the effects are not active. Let's do a recording. The sound you'll hear now will come from the Grossman Audio and be recorded directly into the DAW via the sound card. Right now, we're hearing a sound without effects. Now let's hear it with effects. 1 button. You don't need anything else. That's it. You don't need anything else. From the Grossman Audio, meaning the recording system, back to where we are now. I want to get the sound. The sound is here. It's that simple. So this is what the effects button gives us with just 1 click. Some people might say this. I could have done this on the pedal too. I could have turned the pedal on and off. Yes, that's true. You could have. Now there's 1 pedal connected here, but maybe you want to connect 4 effects at the same time. You want to connect reverb, delay, chorus, all of these. You would have had to press and turn each one on or off individually. KHE Audio has eliminated that. By turning it on and off with a single effects button, I can have effects if I want. Signal, or I can have a signal without effects if I want. That's why this little button in between is very valuable and important to me. Because here I'm hearing the overall sound of my recording. The sound that you hear from the camera. Then, if I want, I send it to the Grossman Audio and start the recording phase. This is the 3rd of my favorite features of this product. What's the 4th one? It's this. This product is the one with the master volume option. What am I saying here? A master volume knob has been added, and it allows you to turn the volume up and down at the same time. Couldn't we have done these through the amp? Yes, just like I said with the effects. If I wanted to turn up the volume, for example, during the recording phase, I'd say, let me turn up the speaker a bit more. What would I have to do? I'd have to turn up the volume on one of the amps I chose. That's one way, true. But what would happen? Right now, there's a volume balance between the 4 amps, and I'd have to mess up that balance every single time. The master volume gives me this. I've set all 4 amps to a specific volume balance. And with 1 knob, I can turn this volume balance up or down as I like. So, for example, if I'm playing here now and want to keep it quiet, I turn it down and enjoy playing at a low volume. During recording, I select the 3rd cabinet and send it to Grossman Audio. And if I feel the recording volume is too low, I can raise the volume of all the amps to a certain level with 1 knob. That's why this master volume is so valuable to us. Now, does it affect the sound? Absolutely not. And that just shows us how high quality KHE Audio's work is. Let me show you quickly. Now, you'll hear the sound through the camera again. Our 2nd amp is on. The Mesa Boogie is on too. The effect is still there. I turned it down. I can turn it up if I want. That's it. Whether I'm playing guitar or recording, this lets me raise or lower the volume of 4 amps with one knob without affecting the sound. I really love this model. Now, as you can see, it saves me time. It keeps the amp safe. It lets me toggle the effect I want with one button. And that's not all. Thanks to the master volume, whatever I'm doing, recording or playing guitar here, it allows me to adjust the volume exactly as I want. And it's amazing how incredibly stable it is while doing all this. Let's move on to the 5th feature, and that's this. You can control this product with a controller if you want. By connecting a controller to the MIDI outputs, whether on stage or recording, you can switch from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4, or even send the 4th amp to another speaker without letting go of your guitar. You can also toggle the FX on and off if you like. This is truly one of KHE Audio's signature features. That's how we say it in Turkish, because being able to do this with a controller is a huge convenience for a guitarist. Like I said, during recording, unplugging amps, plugging them back in, checking effects, it handles everything in one device. 4 caps, 4 speakers, FX, master volume, and safety. It provides all of that for us. Not only that, but it also allows us to control the product with our feet using a controller. I haven't connected it right now, but if you'd like, you can connect a drive pedal to the KHE audio inputs and use your own drive instead of the amps. By connecting a booster, you can push the tubes of the amps even further. These are all just matters of preference. I haven't connected anything like that now, but sometimes I do. For example, I'll connect the Ethos, one of my favorite pedals. Sometimes I connect the BB preamp. I want to break up the amp's tubes a bit. I use it like a booster, and that's really enjoyable with various different sounds. It's free. But right now, in its simplest form, I wanted to show you what this KHE audio model is capable of doing. Let me play a little bit. Again, through the camera's audio. Why through the camera's audio? I'm emphasizing this, by the way, because you might get confused and wonder, what exactly am I hearing right now? When I switch over to Grossman Audio, I'll let you know. Let me do some quick transitions. At least, let's show how quickly we can switch between the gear. I've gone back to the Friedman. I've selected the first amp. Our Mesa Boogie 212 is still running and we have no effects. I wanted an effect. That's all. I've switched to the Victory. This is also one of the amps I really love. I've changed it. I've switched to the Mesa Boogie Express. Every amp truly has its own completely unique character. After all, why do we buy these amps? We know that each one offers a specific character. We buy the amp because we want that specific character. For instance, I'm switching between amps right now. I don't know how well I'm conveying this to you, but I love them all. It's just like I said. Is that character right for the recording I'm doing at that moment? That's the most important thing for me. I can feel it beautifully through my touch and emotion as I play. I hope I'm able to show you. Every amp has a completely different character, and we're right in the sound without compromising that character at all. What am I using right now? There's the Mesa Boogie and the cabinet. You can hear the sound coming through. The sound from the camera. That's super. Okay. What did I do? I sent it to Grossman Audio, and the effect is on. The effect you're hearing now, I didn't select the cabinet in the same way. I sent it to Grossman Audio, and I wanted Grossman Audio to send it to the system. The sound you just heard is the direct recording sound, meaning sound transferred via microphones to the preamp and sound card. As you can see, it's just one button. But what did I say? I normally record without any effects. Just now, you were hearing the sound with effects. With one button, let's record without effects. That's it. If I want, I can add effects on top later. Now, let's say I didn't want to choose the Mesa Boogie, and I switch back to the Sewer. Again, without any effects, I'm playing the Sewer Badger 35. Now, I want to play this with effects. That's all. If I want, I can use any amp or cabinet with or without effects by adjusting the volume to any level I like. I really love this product from KHE Audio, and the more I use it, the more I realize how much it serves my sound. Over time, I've come to realize this. To serve a guitarist's sound, you don't necessarily need a drive pedal, a microphone, or a specific guitar or amp. Sometimes being able to use them very effectively and quickly, using them safely, and being able to route them however you want is one of the biggest contributions to a guitarist's sound. That's why it's become one of the most important focal points and pieces of my workspace and studio. For this reason, I'd like to thank KHE Audio very much, both for me, for accepting me into this family as an artist, and for providing us with such wonderful products. As I said, it has many more features. I've tried to explain them to you quickly. I hope I've been successful in doing so. If you've watched this far, thank you very much. If there's anything you'd like to ask, please write it down. I'll try to answer as much as I can. Thank you, everyone. Farewell.